Introducing the Ferrari 812 GTS, a tailor-made vehicle, however, with a rather disappointing sound system. My name is Ardil and welcome to Cambridge Car Audio, where you guys are about to join us and embark on an absolutely insane sound system. Let's go.
So, as you can see, you're joining us after we've just stripped out this car, and there has been a lot to strip out. We've got the entire interior in the front here gone. We've also done a bit in the boot because we're going to be moving there later, and we've taken the dash out, which was a big piece. Obviously, we have to take this out because the mids in there have to be removed and then ours mounted, and the only way we can do that is by removing the entire piece, removing everything on top, then bolting them in place, getting our wiring through the dash, and then plugging it back in down here. First of all, we've done our soundproofing. We've applied this everywhere in here. We've got it all over the floor, center console, and in the doors. A heavy amount in the doors because we want to really deaden that, get it nice and dead. Hence, sound deadening. We just want to stop all those vibrations. And then we're also going to be putting it behind the original speakers here, so that when we put our speakers in, it's going to create a nice seal. And then we're going to move on to that now. In the doors, we have these original woofers, which aren't great at all. And with these, we are going to be replacing with our top end Thesis line. Obviously, you can see the difference. Fairly hefty compared to these ones. To mount them in the same place though, we're going to be needing our 3D adapters, which we've made. These are going to be mounting into the doors along with the water skins, which will be directing the sound a bit more. These obviously come up to the door with foam around the front. However, we will be recreating this with these. These will create a seal and direct all that sound out through the door cards towards the driver. These will obviously all go together and then mount in exactly how the factory one's mounted. However, if you join me over here, we're going to be moving on to the dashboard and getting those mids in. So over here, we're going to be putting in the mids into our dash. What we've actually found is, because this is the lower spec Ferrari sound system, that this just doesn't have any mids in the front at the moment. So what you would usually find is a mid in the middle for a center channel and a tweeter, which would do bings and bongs, any sensors, reversing sensors, anything like that. However, that is all run through the doors. And what you would also have is mids in both front corners. However, we just don't have that. There are other mounting points. In these locations, we are going to be mounting our 3-inch Thesis mids. These are going to be able to fit into the factory locations thanks to our 3D printed adapters. These just slot in very nicely into all the locations and just screw in as the factories would, which means that we can then wire it exactly how the factories would be, down through the center, down out, so that whenever someone removes the dash like we have, it's just a simple plug and play. Got these rear panels out, and we've started to look at the rear speakers as well. We're going to be replacing these rear mids with our Thesis 3-inch mids, same as in the dash. These only have very small mids in the rears because it's just a bit of filler, and honestly they're just not very good. However, I was replacing these with our 3-inch. As you can see, the massive difference. These will create a huge sound difference, and these can be mounted into the original factory locations, again, because of our 3D designed printing that we've done. These will just screw in and look very nice in the original locations. So we're getting our interior back together now. We've got our mids, our thesis mids in our rear. We've got our thesis mids in the dash, which is already in. And we're getting this all back together so we can then moving into the boot, where we're going to be mounting our amplifiers and all the other bits and pieces that we need. We've already done all of our speakers. We're going to get our door cards on next and get our floor and everything, all the trim back together. And then get this completely finished so that then when we move into the back, it's only the back we've got to worry about. And then, yeah, we get there. Cool, so we've got our door cards off now and we're going to be looking at our tweeters. These are actually mounted at the top of the door cards in a very small factory location. Once we've got it off, we actually saw that it's just a very, very small tweeter in there and not a lot of space for our stuff. So the maximum that we can fit in there is our Voces, which is why we're not going to go for our thesis line on the tweeters. All we can fit is these Voces into here. Moving on to mounting the actual amplifiers now. In the boot area, we're going to have to make a very custom sort of bracket for actually holding the amplifiers. Obviously the customer wants to lose as little space as possible, and the way that we've thought of this is by angling the amplifiers in the back of the boot and then creating a false wall in the front. We're going to have two side panels to hold ventilation fans on either side, and then on the centre we're going to have a cover piece to gain access to the amplifiers. And we're going to put a nice custom plaque on there, which is going to be going over the whole spec of the system, of what we've installed and what's gone into the car, just to match the plaque that they've already got in the boot, which goes over what they've already added to the car from factory. The custom amp racking is going to have to be a welded piece, just to add strength and have them looking almost floating. There's just not enough room to be adding wood, and this is also going to stop the airflow around the amps, so we want to keep the air flowing around them as much as possible, and the best way to do this is out of metal, nice and thin but nice and strong. So I'm going to get to that and then we'll have a look at it when it's all done.
So what an incredible journey that was to get this car to where we are. You've seen the entire process of our team, especially Jonathan, who has been working on the vehicle. He has done an absolutely incredible job. A lot of blood, sweat and tears goes into getting a car sounding this good, but also working on this level of car day in, day out. And JP, who's done the work on it, has absolutely done an incredible job. So I want to just go through kind of a little bit about the car, a little bit about the client, what they were after, and also about just the overall system. Basically run you through kind of the products, why we selected what we did, and also kind of just a bit of a run through. And then after that, you guys will actually be able to listen to the final results of the system. So you guys will actually be able to hear how incredible this Ferrari 812 GTS sounds. And right at the very end, guys, we probably will also treat you guys to listen to the Novatec sound system that we've got on the car as well. I mean, it sounds absolutely bonkers in terms of that exhaust, and now it's got a sound system to match. So firstly, what our client was after: a full custom sound system to pretty much as highest level as possible in terms of car audio, and that is why it landed with us. But also what he wanted was of retaining a full factory look on this interior of this cabin. The reason why is because this Ferrari is not just a normal Ferrari. This is the Ferrari 812 GTS, but not only that, this is also a tailor-made Ferrari. The interior is customizable, the exterior is customizable. On these vehicles, we can add designated subs, so it's very much dependent on client-based whether you would like a sub or not. We can do footwell designs, or we can actually build a custom enclosure that sits in between the seats, like we do in a lot of the Aventadors. But what our client was after is retaining this factory tailor-made look, which I don't blame him, it looks absolutely stunning in here. So, starting off then with product choice. On top of that door card, we've gone for the Audison Voce tweeter. So this is Audison Voce. Out of the Audison line, you've got Thesis at the top, Voce in the middle, and Prima at the bottom. Audison Voce as a line is still absolutely phenomenal, far, far beyond what the factory was offering, or with the JBL system or any factory option. Audison Voce is an incredible line of speakers. And what we've actually done, and the reason why we selected that, is for one very specific purpose. to fit inside the OEM location. What our client was after was the main thing was retaining that OEM look, and that is exactly what we've done with that Audison Voce tweeter. Still brings that higher frequencies into the system, it still sounds absolutely phenomenal, and also we've got the mid-ranges which are pretty in a not bad location next to them. They're doing a hell of a lot of work as well. So the Audison Voce tweeter's OEM location, then we move over slightly down in the frequency range to the Audison Thesis line. The Audison Thesis line is kind of our go-to for a lot of our clients. We're very proud in the fact that we do a hell of a lot of Audison Thesis line. It is the kind of flagship from Audison in terms of their product line. It's the pinnacle of car audio. So it's the highest spec you can go. So that is the Audison Thesis line on top of the dashboard. So moving on from the Thesis 3-inch mid-ranges on top of the dashboard, we move down in the frequency range to the 6.5-inch mid-bass drivers that are mounted in the bottom of the door. An incredibly high quality component there, and also they do drop very low and give a lot of warmth of sound on a kind of SQ system that we've got on this car. That is the three-way front end. So Voce tweeter, Thesis mid, Thesis 6.5-inch sax in the door. We've also added in a Thesis 3-inch mid-range in actually the rear speaker location, just giving a little bit more clarity to the system and also a little bit of rear fill. We have got on this vehicle a Novitec exhaust, so this car is incredibly loud. With that in mind, we thought it would be best to add in those rears just as a little bit of extra power, extra little bit of volume in this car to help kind of take over from that soundtrack of this V12. When that soundtrack is running, you can have a mixture of both, and you have the incredible perfection of beautiful audio inside the vehicle with the Cambridge Car Audio treatment, but also with that absolutely awesome soundtrack of that Novitec exhaust on the Ferrari 812 GTS. So that is the product lineup in the front. However, we are not finished there, because we have 3 more products I want to talk to you about. One is the brain. The brain of this system is the Audison Bit Virtuoso processor. Again, highest spec processor money buys that is out there on the market currently. Absolutely phenomenal bit of kit. That is actually mounted in the rear section here. Then we've got 2 flagship products, the Audison Thesis line of amplification. So we've got 2 Audison Thesis Quattros in the system. The Audison Thesis Quattros are running a fully active system. One of those Quattros is running the tweeters and 3-inch mid-ranges. The other one is running the 3-inch mid-ranges at the rear and the mid-bass drivers in the bottom of the door. So all channels are being used. Sounds absolutely incredible in here. I've just carried out all the tuning on the car. Sounds absolutely gorgeous, there's no other way to put it. And the Thesis line of amplification, the power and soul of this system is just breathtaking. So you don't need to take my word for it. You guys are actually now going to sit back, relax, and we're going to pair up my phone. I'm going to listen to a couple of tracks, and you guys are about to embark on something really special. So grab your headphones, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. It's just such a nice place to be now. The control, the power, just gives you goosebumps.
You tell him he's always
It's beautiful.
Tell him you got his keys cause you thought he needed them, but he's not coming back again. So he's gone, leaving then. You won't see him again. It was convenient, but you won't be staying friends. You know that, sweetie, you know that.
Exceptional.
You knew it before, but you just ignored that. So now you won't take back.
The staging is correct.
Here, so you sort of hurt. It makes you see clear that you were just lost, you were just lost. But now you found, and you realize it wasn't at all.
And you guys can hear that for yourself. Absolutely breathtaking in here. It is some of those tracks are literally giving me goosebumps. The power of Audison Thesis line when it's this close to you is just phenomenal. There's no other way to put it. I do just want to recap on something when we're talking about spec, is about the level of custom detail that we go to. Obviously, with the car being complete factory look, with it being a tailor-made spec car, what we've actually done is custom built a plaque that sits in the boot area that actually highlights the full specification of the system with all the details on it as well, matching the Ferrari plaque. It looks absolutely incredible, and that is exactly why our clients keep returning to us, because our systems will only ever get better and better. So thank you once again for watching today's video. I really hope you've enjoyed it and loved all of the fancy upgrades that we've done onto this 812 GTS, and if you're interested in upgrading yours, feel free to reach out to me. Contact details are all in the description below. But thank you once again for watching, guys. Now, as the final soundtrack, hear this Novatec exhaust.